Hi, and happy Sunday. It's the 20th of September here. Maybe it's the 20th of September where you are. And I had 5 minutes. I'm going to answer a few more of your questions from a couple of videos ago when I said, ask me a question. So carrying on from where we left off, which is Alistair Wallace says, hi Joe, what are your plans for the railway carriage? The railway carriage was purchased, getting on for 6 years next year, and the plan for it was originally that it was going to be a kind of den for me to spend time in, but it has evolved that we want it to be a glamping unit, so it will have a fire in there and accommodation for people to sleep, and it will be positioned somewhere nice on the campsite for a beautiful, quiet, relaxing stay. Progress on it has stalled due to lots of other commitments, as you're aware, working on the farm and developing the campsite. George Van Gordon says, what sort of things do you do for entertainment and enjoyment other than swimming? Out of everything, what is your most favourite thing to do? My most favourite thing to do is just spend time in nature. So probably in the mountains. Definitely in the mountains. My most favourite thing to do is to spend time in the mountains with beautiful views, with the option to go swimming in lakes, mountain biking up and down the mountains, walking in the mountains, cooking in the mountains, sleeping in the mountains, just basically being in the mountains with the fresh, cool air and hopefully sunshine and just that feeling of nature and peace. That is my ultimate thing to do. When I've been on holidays to the Alps and I've seen like a mountain scene and they have the cows grazing with the cowbells and there's like rivers and things, I just cry with happiness. It is my ultimate. Good question. Miss Sheep 66 says, how big is your farm and how many ewes do you keep? Colin. Colin is the name of the person asking the question. We have 100 acres and at the moment we've only got about 60 ewes. It kind of fluctuates between 60 and we used to have more. We're going to get some more soon. Neza23 says, what sort of training do you do, Joe? Sessions, reps, duration, frequency. So I like to use weights. I like to go to the gym to train to be like strong, even though I do not look strong at the moment. So I'll go to the gym maybe 4 times a week if possible, or train 4 times a week, doing like upper body and lower body strength and lifting weights. And then aside from that, swimming and cycling. Haven't been doing a great deal of cycling, but I'm hoping to do more of that soon. But yeah, about an hour per gym session. Jeff Sherm says, why didn't you call the vet? Not sure that question. David Payne says, okay, I've got 2 questions I don't think you can answer. How did you become so beautiful and how did you steal my heart? David, that's so nice. I guess I have my mother and my father to thank for my genetics. I don't know how I stole your heart. Only you can answer that one. And then the next question, where did you attend school? I attended school at Lady Manners School in Bakewell, which is just a few minutes down the road. Ginge says, any wild swimming tips? Any favourite swimming areas? Wild swimming tips, just get in the water. Keep going at it. I think the more you do it, the more the cold becomes, you acclimatise to the cold. Favourite swimming areas, probably the Lake District. Snowdonia probably would be really good for swimming, but I haven't explored it that much. And when we went to Italy in the winter, there was some amazing lakes like Como, Garda, Edro, but to name a few, and that was really nice to swim. Lakes, I think, are my favourite. Lawrence says, what did you plan on for a career growing up? Will you take over the farm? What do your siblings feel about the farm, staying in the family? What's your dad's thoughts? So many questions. that's a big one. Plan on a career. Well, I trained to be a journalist. And then I decided that it was not for me. Journalism is not for me. Far too sort of, like in some respects, very competitive. Also a bit, you had to be pushy, and I just wasn't pushy enough. I didn't want it enough. It wasn't the right thing. Will I take over the farm someday? I hope so. How do my siblings feel about the farm staying in the family? I hope that they'd be happy. That it would, and same with my dad. I hope that everyone in the family would be happy that the farm can stay in the family. Alan says, how long has your dad been on the farm? Did he grow up there and take over from his dad? Yes, he did. And I did kind of answer that in the last video. My granddad was here, and before that his uncle, and before that his dad. So a few generations going back. Andrew Macoma says, what is the history of Dale Farm in your family, since when? A broad overview is fine. Again, that was covered in part 1. Since been in the family since 1880, and there's been sort of all sorts of different things going on with farming since then. Brian says, where is your mum? Are your parents divorced? Thought we maybe saw a glimpse of her at your sister's wedding. Yes, they are divorced. Mum now lives in Chesterfield, which is 25-minute drive away, not so far, and she does come back. Her and dad still talk, and they're fine. She's remarried now. But yeah, she's still around. Casto, hello, says, I can't pick a sensible question. How many brews do you drink in a day? People think I have tea in my blood. I love tea and coffee, but I was totally raised on tea. Dad is famous for his cups of tea. How many in a day? 6? Is that good going? Ian says, are you considering expanding the camping and motorhome area, or are you limited? No, we're not expanding it. It's as we want it to be. We've got 30 pitches altogether. They're kind of multi-use, and we think 30 is plenty. What got you into wild swimming? Have you ever tried rock climbing? I got into wild swimming because I was looking for a bit of an adrenaline fix. Mountain biking gave me a good adrenaline boost, and there's not always the time or the opportunity to go mountain biking. So it was the thrill of the cold water that got me in, and I've been hooked ever since. Have I ever tried rock climbing? Only indoor bouldering. I haven't done any outdoor climbing. I would like to. My fingers are not well trained enough, but I would certainly like to try bouldering. Charve says, hi Joanna, if you have 60 sheep on a good year, they have 3 lambs that would sell for £70. That would only be £12,600, or 4 or 5 cattle a year. How are you surviving to keep the 3 of you in equipment, feed, fuel, bills, expenses, home insurance, etc.? So quite clearly the farm is not the only source of income. The farm is Dad's business, and the campsite is my business, and I share that business with Nick. Up until last year, I also worked other jobs as well, and so did Nick, but the campsite has become kind of so demanding on us now that I needed to give it my full attention, plus the farm, of course. So we have other jobs. That is the answer. How we make it pay is we have other jobs. Barb says, what breed or breeds of sheep are on your farm? How long has your family been farming, and how long in the same location? The sheep, we get asked this quite a lot. So they are mules. So the ewes are mules, and that is a crossbred sheep between usually a blue face Leicester ram and a mountain sort of sheep with horns, usually at Swaledale or Swardle, or however you want to pronounce that. And that produces the mules that are very good mothers, high lambing percentage, and good milk production. And we cross these with our ram, and up until today, like currently, we always have a Texel ram. Potentially that could change in the future, but that's what we use at the moment. So our lambs are Texel cross mule, and Doris and Mabel, the ones who are our pets, they sort of predominantly are leaning on the Texel side. So their lambs then being crossed with Texel are even more Texel in their appearance. How long has the family been farming? At that farm since 1880 at Dale Farm in the same location. And yeah, good question, thank you. Cara Gray says, do you not have a sheepdog? You and your dad are a great team. Oh, thank you. Farming is hard, not much money in it, but it's a great way of life. Would you ever swim the channel? We don't have a sheepdog. We used to. Dad says there's not enough work for a dog. Maybe in the future it's something that I would look into getting. Would I ever swim the channel? Oh, could I ever swim the channel? At the moment, I only swim about 2.5 kilometres in one go, and that for me feels like swimming the channel. So I'm not sure I'm up for it yet, but I don't know. The idea of increasing my distance appeals to me, but I don't. The channel is not like in my sights. And Cara also says, did you go to Young Farmers Club? No, I did not. Most of my youth was spent doing pony club activities. I was a young horse rider. And that was like my thing, was pony club. Yellow Labrador says there's more talk of rewilding parts of the countryside because of the damage caused by farming. Might it happen in your area? We have a lot of very marginal land here in Ireland. Lots of bogs have been reclaimed. I noticed the decline in birds like the curlew. Is there an environmental project you'd like to encourage? Nice question. Well, we don't have lots of land that I think would be suitable for rewilding. I understand what you're saying though in Ireland with the bogs and that kind of thing, in terms of natural habitats. I guess our environmental projects are more focused on renewable energy. So we'd like to invest in solar panels to put on the barn roof to generate energy that way. So I think my environmental projects kind of focus more on what we can do to generate energy. Corridor 42 says, are you and Nick competitive swimmers? You seem to have affinity to water. So we haven't competed yet. We were supposed to be competing in a competition in March that got cancelled because of you know what. And there's a competition in November, so possibly we will compete in November, but up until this point we are not competitive swimmers. And the last question is going to be, I am Mo Tumin says, peace sister, do you believe in God? If so, how do you define him or her or it? Do I believe in God? That's a difficult one. My family are all religious. I would describe myself more as spiritual. And I think I will leave it there. And then there's just a few questions left for part 3. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching and see you soon.